Hello YouTube, in this tutorial we're gonna learn about function overloading. So this is the situation that we are going to have. Here we're gonna construct two functions with the same name, but the task of those functions will be to handle different data types automatically. So yes, people are using on internet terminology function overloading, but I like to use newbie approach and I just say automatic data type recognition. So it's up to you what you're gonna use. So the situation will be like this. Integer x will be like 50. It's totally up to you what you're going to define here as a value. We are just working with whole numbers. And character c, let's say, will be, I don't know, a, right? So the task here is to call, let's say, this function print stuff, and the purpose of this function is to automatically recognize with what kind of data type we are working, and based on that to issue specific actions without getting into error. Okay, so same name for two functions. So let's start typing those things right here. Void the name of function print stuff, and now we are going to say integer. So this is for a first case. Integer, let's use just here container as a general name for, well, container. Integer container, and now the actual operations will be same in both of these functions, and the thing will be extremely simple. So cout, okay, and we will just print that container like generic stuff, and we are going to end line here. Now let me steal this code to save a little bit of time, and down there we're gonna paste, and here we will change this to character, because down there we need to handle both of these types. So now if you grab, for example, x container, inside of main part of the code, the result will be 50. So we are working with actual integer. That's fine. So let's immediately change this to c, which is obviously one character, and the result will be totally accurate. See, there you go, without any kind of error. So some people will say, well, what if we have these variables like outside of main? Will that work? Well, yes, it will work, but in that case these variables will be global. So when you're working with global variables, if you want to use custom variables down there like local ones, then you need to use that thing from last tutorial, which is unary scope operator. This stuff, okay, but that's done in the last tutorial. So let me return to basic approach here. Now, can you call this function multiple times? Well, sure. You can call it with different values, like integer epsilon is 100, let's say, and let's also have float like o, or let's just use f here. Float will be that one, something like that. So now we also need to construct yet another function here. I mean function with the same structure, but change this thing to float, because you need to have different corresponding handlers for your usage cases. So right, print stuff x, that will work, we know that, no problem. Now print c, that will work, and let's call again this integer stuff, but through epsilon container, and let's call the same function with container that can hold a float. So now these things, they will all be executed, so no errors will happen down there. See, there you go. So 50 and letter and 100 and float. So yep guys, that's pretty much it. Just here's my honest opinion. If you run into this kind of mess into other people's code, or if you are just practicing, try somehow to weigh this mess, because sooner or later if your program becomes big enough, then you will often run into all kind of errors. So this is kind of redundant, and try to organize your code differently. Like you can even use different functions to deal with different data types, even if the operations are similar or same. So don't torture yourself with too much typing. Just put stuff on a paper first, think about solution, and then implement the option where you don't need to waste your time on too much typing and complicating a life for yourself. So I don't know what you're doing basically, but yeah, try to simplify your life. And in any case, if you ever need this thing will work. So yep guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching and see you next tutorial.